This is Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles from Safe Harbor Retirement Group. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Cory provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. And now, here is Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles.
Welcome back to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Cory Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. If you have any questions about today's show, feel free to give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. And while you're on our website, feel free to check out today's show by clicking on our radio page. You can also watch previous show or listen to previous shows, as well as subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or Spotify. Also, feel free to watch today's show on our YouTube channel. Just type in Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. You can actually click on our Financially Fit Radio playlist to watch today's show. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll be kept up to date when we release all of our short videos. We're doing about 4 or 5 shorts a week about, just about different types of financial topics. Again, we're here to help and guide you to make sure you have the best retirement that you can. And the best way to be able to do that is get a second opinion on your overall financial plan. And just remember, when you do schedule a meeting with us, all meetings are complimentary and there's no financial obligation. Well, today we're going to talk about something that's probably pretty sensitive. And that is do you really know your parents' financial wishes? So it's a touchy subject, not only for your parents, but it could also be for your family as well. But before we dive into that, let me introduce to you my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you?
I am great, Cory. Thanks for having me on the show today. This is a great topic. We were just talking about this, making sure you have all your ducks in a row and everybody's on the same page when it comes to finances. And, my dad, my grandfather did not like to talk about finances. He didn't communicate with the family well on that, and that causes a lot of problems. So I'm looking forward to talking about this today to help others avoid these mistakes that people can easily make when it comes to this. Now, Cory, I've been good. I took a little break a couple weeks ago, and I'm still feeling refreshed. How about you?
I'm doing well too, Tony.
Good.
It's hard to believe we're already here in August. And, it actually starts to get really busy for us, from the business standpoint. The summer's over. People are now going to start refocusing on their finances. I'll try to get some more golf in here over the next couple of months. And, football season's right around the corner, which is really the best time of the year for me. I love watching football. College as well as NFL is, too. So
go Buckeyes.
Yep. Today was, we're recording this, and they're actually in, I guess, I don't know if you call it training camp. Maybe you do call, I know NFL you call it training camp. I don't know what you call, I guess it's training camp as well, for college teams. So the Buckeyes are in there, and we're getting ready to, host those Texas Longhorns on August 30th.
Yeah, and that'll be a victory. That's a V. That's a W in the win column. I already
Let's hope
know,
so.
I already know that.
Yeah,
I know that. I can't believe how close football is. I'm excited about it. You and me both. And go Ohio State. That'll be a lot of fun to watch them this year. Hopefully another good year for Ohio State. They've been doing pretty well. So can't complain there. But now the real big event coming up, and that I think we need to remind our listeners is, do you call it the Jester Cup? I call it the Jester Cup, like a court jester. But what's that called, Cory?
It's just the Jester Cup.
Yeah.
I already got a couple of videos out there trying to get get some of that talk going.
Yeah, I watched your videos. Those were hilarious. I know every year you play in this golf tournament. It's a challenge, the Jester family, and you have a team, and it's the Jester team versus your team, right? Is that how
It
it goes?
is.
Team USA, which I think obviously,
Yep.
who's going to root for Team Jester? I mean, just based on the names, who would you root for? Team USA or Team Jester? I mean, really.
I'm with you. I'm
Cory,
with you when it comes to that.
yeah, everyone's going to be rooting for Team USA out there. So
Yeah, last year I came up with our team name, which is Team USA.
that's a good one.
And I don't know if they really like that because just like
Nope.
you just said, you really can't, you can't smack talk Team USA.
No, you guys love to trash talk each other, and you just took the legs right out from under their trash talk when you named your team Team USA. That's a
Yeah.
classic. I absolutely love that, Cory. You scored some big points there. I mean,
Yep.
I don't know how you trash talk Team USA.
Yeah. Well, the team leader is John Jester, and
Oh yeah,
him and I graduated high school together, so
sure.
we've known each other for a long time, and so it's his family that he puts together, and then we put together some nobodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
But obviously, we're non-jesters, but three of the individuals that actually four of the individuals that are on the team I went to high school with.
Sure.
And
So
we have
your old friends.
two other buddies as well.
Yeah.
And it's a Ryder Cup format. Doesn't actually take place until September 20th. But I've done a few videos. Probably got a few more videos coming after this as well.
I'm sure.
And
I'm sure the Jester family and John really appreciate
yes.
that.
Yep.
But I know how much you care about John and his family and love them. It's all in fun. But that is funny that I get the biggest kick. The Team USA name. That's classic. So
Yep.
we should probably jump into we'll have more in coming weeks. When is that cup, by the way?
It's September 20th.
Yeah.
We're actually going to be traveling to Indianapolis, Indiana, and we're going to have 3 days of golf over there the week before the actual Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
So this is a Ryder Cup type format. And it's a week before, USA versus Europe.
You ever thought about bringing in a ringer, like a PGA pro on your team to have on your team?
We have not done that yet. We might, if they beat us 2 years in a row, we might have to be thinking that, right?
Yeah. We'll talk about that. We'll work on getting somebody on the team, but at least try to get like Happy Gilmore or somebody who can drive the ball on your team.
Yes.
Huh?
Yep. I'd actually help out in some of the events.
Well, hey, do you know your parents' financial wishes? A general estate planning knowledge is important. Where do you want to begin?
This is a sensitive subject, right?
Yeah, it is.
I don't think a lot of family members think about this stuff, but I think they don't know how to approach it. And in many cases, there's a lot of I'm going to say baby boomers or seniors, whatever you want to, depending on the situation here. But a lot of them don't like to talk about their stuff as well. A lot of times it's going, you ask a question, they go, "Oh yeah, I got all that stuff handled." Well, do they really have it handled, right? The thoughts of the way they have it handled versus the right way to possibly to have it handled is it could be two different scenarios. But the one thing I just want to take a second with, Tony, is I just kind of want to read a few stats, just to kind of let everybody know just a few things about when we start talking about legacy planning and things like that. 56% of Americans believe that estate planning is important, but only 33% of adults in the U.S. have actually documented this end of life plans. So that's the first one. Another one, 24% of Americans actually have a will. 23% of people update their wills after getting married or having a child. Think about that. Only 23% of them, that's a life-changing event, and they're actually not updating their documents that is going to leave the money in their assets to where they really want it to be able to go. 52% of people don't know where their parents store estate planning documents, which I think is very important to be able to know that. Nearly 25% of people say nothing would motivate them to create an estate plan, while 11% report that a death of a loved one would motivate them.
Wow.
Yeah. So, a couple of other ones, only 46% of will executors were even aware of a will, which means someone actually put them down as an executor, Tony, and they actually didn't tell them that you were the executor.
Or communicate what was in the will with them.
Right.
I mean, that's terrible.
Right. Only 30% of people update their wills when they buy a home or got a raise or inherited money from a loved one. And 43% of Americans report not having a will or other estate planning documents because they simply have not gotten around to it. And the last one I kind of want to leave you with is 56% of Americans feel that they don't have enough assets to justify creating an estate plan or stress that creating one is low on their priority list.
Ooh, and that's not good.
And everybody needs to have an estate plan.
Yeah.
If you own any asset at all, whether it's money in the bank, whether it's a house, whether it's a vehicle. I mean, there's just so many things that that is something that I always hear about. One thing I always hear about is, well, I don't have enough. I don't have my estate's not worth to have a trust. I hear that a lot. And really it has nothing to do with how much you have. The only asset you might have might be your home. But don't you want it to go the right way? Don't you want it to avoid probate, to make sure that all that money goes to where you want it to go and not to some, state probate court or an attorney? So it's very important to be able to have all these documents, and we'll talk about what documents we're talking about here in a second. But it's not always easy, Tony, to start up this conversation with your parents and say, what is your legacy plan, or what's your estate plan, right? So it's a simple, it's a difficult question, but I think one of the things you really have to kind of do is you have to really, first of all, you have to find the right setting to have this discussion with your parents.
Yeah.
Right. Don't do it, at the family reunion, or don't do this at Thanksgiving or some type of holiday. I know that might be you might only see your parents anymore just around holidays and birthdays, but you might have to find a different time to be able to actually bring this subject up with them to discuss it.
Yeah, that's a tough one. And it's a difficult conversation to have, but it is so important. And I've seen what happens when it doesn't happen. And you have too, probably, with a lot of clients as they age and when things happen. So you want to plan ahead. So many people, as you gave the stats, they're staggering how many people don't have a plan in place, or any type of estate planning or powers of attorney. You've got to get your ducks in a row. So what else do we need to know?
I think the first thing you really have to do is, when we start talking to them about it, I think you really need, it's not so much of, you don't want to talk about the finances. I think you want to be able to basically, tell them, we want to make sure your wishes are going to be honored. Right. Now, there's a lot of things when you start talking about that can, it's going to lead you down a path, right? Not only you want to talk about finances a little bit, but it's also you want to make sure that they do have all their documents in place too, Tony. Do you have a will? Do you have a financial power of attorney? Do you have a living will? Do you have a healthcare power of attorney? And the one thing that I would say is, in many cases, they might not have that. And, a good situation might be is for you to already have a estate plan in place. Then you can actually go to them and say, hey, I got an estate plan in place. Here's the way I kind of set it all up. Do you kind of agree with the way I did it? And then that might lead into a conversation of, how did you do your estate plan? Right?
Right.
And you don't want to bombard them. And the other part of it is, it's a difficult situation sometimes, depending on how old your parents are. They might be all of a sudden thinking that you're talking to them because you think they're going to die, right?
Right.
Death is near. And that's really not what it's what it's about at all. What you want to be able to do is put them in a situation where you just basically say the best time to be able to do it is when they're healthy, to have these type of discussions.
Yeah, that's the best before these things start happening, or there's some, things like Alzheimer's and dementia and cognitive issues are so common these days as people get older. You want to make sure you have all your ducks in a row long before then.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say is I have, obviously I have a lot of clients, and when we start talking about this, I have a portion of them that they procrastinate, right? And it takes them a while in order to get some of these documents or get this stuff in place. But the one thing I will say, what drives someone to actually come into our office to get this stuff done more than anything else, Tony?
Is when they have a relative pass.
Or they're going to travel overseas,
Yeah.
or they're going to
Yes.
travel
Take a
somewhere
trip.
else.
If they're going to travel and
All of a sudden they're taking that big trip and they go, I got to get this stuff in. That plane might go down or whatever might end up happening.
Right. I might fall off
it's not
the
like
cruise ship.
it's not like that something could have happened on the drive into the office.
Right. The odds are of getting hurt in traffic daily, especially if you live in a big city, are much greater than you falling off that cruise ship. So yeah, it's right. I mean, yeah.
And the one thing I will say is when you do start talking to your parents about it, you want to be in a position where you ask a lot of open-ended questions too, right? Do you have a will or trust?
Right.
Is there someone you'd like to manage your finances if you couldn't? Right? I mean, you want to ask those type of questions. You don't want to feel like you're actually interrogating them about this. So you want to give them a chance to be able to really say what they want to be able to say.
Right. And again, like you said earlier, you don't want to frame it as, thinking about your passing. No one likes to talk about death or passing. This is just planning for the future and what's inevitable. I mean, we all need this, right?
Yeah. And, here's the biggest part of it. One is just to get the stuff done. And I can't tell you how many clients that actually have put their estate plan in place by getting all the documents and getting everything the way that they want everything set up. And then there's such a relief.
Yeah.
The stress is gone.
Worry about it. Yeah. You don't have to worry about it. It's
I think,
taken care of.
I think a lot of people just don't want to do it because it feels like, maybe my life's ending. But really, you really should set all this stuff up with when you're young, and then you just kind of keep building on it, maybe as you get married, as you have kids, as people do pass, parents pass, or siblings pass, or whatever that is, you can always update all that type of stuff. But what I always tell clients, Tony, is this: you can change this thing a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 3 years from now.
Yeah.
You got to put something in place today in case something unexpectedly happens. Don't you want all the stuff that you work so hard for to go where you want it to go?
Yeah.
And to avoid probate and all those other costs or tying the funds up for a long period of time, just because you did not do a certain amount of things in order to get your estate in ready order.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the questions you said. Is there somebody you want to manage your finances? Are there charities or causes you want to give to? Get them thinking about that and, offer to help, but don't take over. Say, I'm not here to benefit myself or to take over. I just want to help you get these plans in place.
I think that's the most important part is you're not there to do it.
Right.
Or control it.
Right.
You're just there to make sure they get everything down. And part of this, Tony, is I think it's a good discussion, right? What do you want to do if you do pass? And what I'm talking about is, do you want a funeral? Do you want a celebration of life? Do you want to be cremated? Where do you want to be buried? Yeah. I mean, those are the kind of questions that you should be having now, before they're at their end of their life. Where they really, I'm just telling you right now, they really will not want to talk about any of this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's true. It is tough, and it gets tougher. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. The
that's
harder
exactly
it
right.
gets. Yeah, like you just said. I think that's a great point. So what's next?
Well, okay. So let's just say you go through the process and you get everything set up, right? And at this point in time, there's no reason to really be shy about it. One of
Right.
the things that one of the things I really would encourage is that um, have you and your siblings or the family all get together and just kind of review the way they want things to go.
The
Don't make it a
communication.
secret. Don't
Yeah.
make it a secret. Because believe me, I've seen many family, conflicts where one sibling has maybe gotten too much money throughout their lifetime and you're one child, right? And all of a sudden when the will comes up, they don't get anything. It's a surprise. Well, I mean, all of a sudden now, Tony, if you're actually the trustee or the executor, they're going to be mad at you because they think that maybe you weaseled out of it.
Yeah.
They didn't actually, they didn't actually sit down with their parents and the parents didn't say, "Hey, John, you know what? We've given you X amount of money over all these years to kind of taking care of you. We're not going to, we're taking that out of the overall estate plan."
Yeah.
Then it's not a shock to him. He might, obviously he might be mad about it, but at least you were able to sit down and hopefully avoid the conflict of all the other siblings and children when you do pass away. That there's not going to be any ill will feeling among the whole family because they thought they got cheated out of money.
Right. You want to avoid those misunderstandings. You want to make sure you openly communicate. And I think um, get your parents to talk to all of their children and get them all together and discuss it so they don't create family disharmony after they're gone. I mean, so often I've seen it. You've probably seen it too, where they didn't communicate properly. And then um, the siblings who were, you might have had a tight knit, close, loving family for your entire life, but then you pass, and all of a sudden, two of the siblings, like my two of my dad's siblings, aren't talking to each other, and they never will again, rest of their lives,
Yep.
because of this exact thing we're talking about. And that is so sad because they were such a close family, and just misunderstanding about who gets what, who controls what did dad really want, before he passed. And so you can't just mention to somebody, oh yeah, you can have that, oh yeah, and then they forget and they tell somebody else. And if it's all in writing and you've communicated it openly and let them ask their questions, you know I think it's better. People don't like to do it. They like to avoid it. But if you do it, you could keep family harmony. And don't you want your family to live in harmony after you're gone? We all
I,
do.
I think everybody
Yeah.
wants that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the one thing that I have so many discussions with clients about this, right? And there's so many of them that go, well, money's not going to, break up the family or anything like
Oh,
that.
oof.
And I can just tell you this, but when their parent passes away, I mean, money becomes an issue,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Regardless of how much there is, right?
Exactly right.
It doesn't,
It becomes an issue. So,
yeah.
here's how I really want to leave today's show, Tony. Is this if you don't have a will, if you don't have a trust, or if you don't even know which one you need, schedule a complimentary meeting with us. We can review your estate plan. If you don't have one, we'll put one in place. Again, there's no financial obligation, to do business with us. But one of the things we do is we want to make sure our clients have an estate plan in place. If you don't have one today, schedule a meeting. Let's get that thing going because it's so important to make sure that your wishes are actually heard, written down. And then the main thing after that is make sure you share that with the family so they understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. That is key. Well, Cory, before we go, let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you. And I know this is something you help your clients with. If they want to set up that no charge, no obligation consultation, how can they do that?
Yeah, just give us a call at 614-760-0670. Or again, you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com.
All right, that does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio with our host, Cory Sickles. Thank you for listening to Financially Fit Radio. Don't pay too much for taxes or retire without a sound income plan. For more information, contact Cory Sickles at Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Call 614-760-0670 or visit their website at financiallyfitoh.com.
All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. We are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any other government agency. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.